to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another video. And what's the old adage? Misery loves company. Well, New York Giants fans over the last few years certainly have been very miserable. And we went into the year with the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles both being potential Super Bowl favorites to come out of the NFC. A lot of experts had both these teams winning 12 or 13 games. I like the Cowboys a lot going into this year, mainly based off of their offensive line. And a lot of Cowboys fans were excited about the new offense. And, they were going to bring more passing, and they've done just that. And they'll point to that. Cowboys fans will point to that, and they get excited. Dak Prescott, for the first time in his career, is going to surpass 4,000 yards. He's going to crush it. He's got like 3,750 already. He's on pace to pass for nearly 5,000 yards. But it doesn't add up to wins. The fact that the Dallas Cowboys changed their offensive philosophy is mind-blowing to me. And Jason Garrett should be on the first bus out of there, and I think he will be. In large part due to that decision, along with a lot of other silly things that he does. But the fact they've gotten away from the run, and I know Zeke has not performed as well as he should have, and there's no excuses there because I'm going to jump into the numbers with this offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys offensive line certainly has not underproduced. And yesterday, they dropped a 6-6 when they drop a game that, in my opinion, they should have never lost to the Buffalo Bills. And I like the Bills. I had the Bills go into the playoffs when the year started. They were 8-3 coming in. But at home on Thanksgiving, that's a game you have to win. Now, the Cowboys may still make the playoffs because our division is that bad. And that is the encouraging news as a Giant fan. Going into the year, we thought we had two much more advanced teams than what it appears to be. The Eagles at 5-6, they just signed Carson Wentz to a long-term extension, which, in my opinion, was a bad business decision. You signed him based off of 13 great games. Since then, he's a 10-12 quarterback. And Dak Prescott this year is 6-6. And like I said, they point to the passing yards and they say he's a much improved quarterback. Well, I think he's got 11 or 12 interceptions. And when you look at the most passing yards, take a look at the quarterbacks that lead the league. Top 5 quarterbacks, you know who they are? Dak Prescott on a team that was supposed to go to the Super Bowl, or contend for a Super Bowl, I should say, out of the NFC, severely underperforming. Phillip Rivers, same thing. Super Bowl contender, severely underperforming. Jameis Winston, guy's got 20 picks. He's second in the league in passing yards. What does it mean? Matt Ryan. His team's got 3 wins. What does passing yards mean? It means nothing to me. That just means that you don't have a balanced offense, and you got away from your strength, which is why Jason Garrett needs to be on the first bus out of here. And the fact that they gave Dak Prescott that much room to throw the football is mind-numbing to me. You guys were winning games with running the football. Why would you get away from that? The Dallas Cowboys should never lead the league in passing. You should not be happy about that if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. And like I said, let's jump into the offensive line, which you guys always like to say is not the reason why your team plays well. And this is a compliment. I wish my New York Giants had an offensive line like you guys have. And you guys this year are dominating. And it's scary that you're only 6-6 with an offensive line as good as yours. I couldn't believe the numbers when I looked at it. Here is the Dallas Cowboys offensive line so far this year. There they are in pass protection. They rank number 1. They've only given up 12 sacks. They have a 3.5% sack rate. Look at all the other teams. The Rams are second with 18. 16 there for Oakland, I guess, because they pass fewer times. But they are shattering every other team in pass protection. Okay? 3.5% of his dropbacks. To put that in perspective, the Giants are at 8.2%. And here is the run blocking. Dallas is second. They rank second in the league in run blocking. So they're first in pass, second in running. They are overwhelmingly the best offensive line in football. Which brings me to my initial point. If the Dallas Cowboys sign Dak Prescott to an extension, it is going to cripple the franchise. The only reason the Dallas Cowboys have remained as competitive as they have over the last 5 or 6 years, or the primary reason, I shouldn't say only reason. You guys have a very strong defense. You got a great running back in Ezekiel Elliott. But the primary reason why you guys have competed and hung around and had a great roster is your offensive line. Well, when Dak makes an extra $35 million a year, which is the going rate at the position, something will have to suffer. I don't care what mathematics you tell me, like Eagles fans always like to tell me with Roseman. Somebody's going to lose a job. They're not going to be able to pay somebody. And either the offensive line or the defense will suffer. And you're 6-6 with the offensive line performing like that. What are you going to be when you pay Dak an extra $35 million a year? Dallas's smartest decision would be, and Cowboy fans may not want to hear this, I would extend Dak 1 year with the franchise tag, and I would draft a quarterback. Dak Prescott is not a $35 million quarterback. He's not a $30 million quarterback. He's not a $28 million quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. And when I say franchise quarterback, I'm talking about a guy who makes top-tier money because that's what you have to do. Look at what the Eagles had to do with Carson Wentz. Look what the Lions had to do with Matt Stafford when he hit the open market. Look what the Falcons had to do with Matt Ryan. You will not win football games if Dak Prescott remains on your roster long-term, and that's just the truth. You may not want to hear it, but that is the truth in my humble opinion. Jason Garrett will be on the first bus out of there. The fact that you have that good of an offensive line and you are 6-6 and you're not running the ball at the rate that you should be is inexcusable. He is the worst coach in football, and if the Giants bring him on, I will be fuming. The rumors have come out that, they kind of wanted, that the Giants are somewhat interested. That would be an atrocious decision by the New York Giants. Jason Garrett needs to stay as far away from here as possible. How do you have the best running offense and get away from that and throw the ball? Dak Prescott, think about that. Dak Prescott has the most passing yards in football, and you wonder why the Cowboys are 6-6. They've gotten away from what has made them one of the best teams in the NFC. If they would have stuck to what they're good at, run the football as much as possible, the Cowboys would have a much better record. It's as simple as that. This is not rocket science. You guys there's no excuses. You have the best offensive line in the sport. You have one of the best running backs the league has to offer, and you're throwing the football at the rate that you are. There's something going on in Dallas, and they're going to change the coach. Jason Garrett should not be back. If he is back this year, I'm fully convinced he will never be fired. And the same, and Dak Prescott will have to wait and see, but the smart thing, in my opinion, would be to franchise tag him and let him loose after that. Maybe you tag him for 2 years, like the Redskins decided to do with Kirk Cousins, but long term, he's not the answer, guys. As always, if you like what you watch, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.